In this video, we're going to discuss how we can add flags or conditions to records. To start, we need to navigate to our tab by the name of Flags. Keep in mind that these tabs can be renamed by every agency. In the case of Pinellas County, the county has opted to call this tab Flags. It's important to know this because if you need help on this section and you click on the Help menu, in Accela, this section is called Conditions. So for your reference, flags and conditions are interchangeable terms. As we can see, for this particular permit, we don't have any flags. Let's start by creating one. Let's click on the New button. We now have the form that we need to fill out to create a new flag for this permit. Keep in mind that as the system continues to be tweaked in the future, the layout and availability of some fields may change. You can choose a group for your condition and a type. In this case, we're going to choose a building permit condition. The values or options in these drop-downs are editable by the Accela management team. You need to give your condition a name. The name is entirely up to the user entering the information. I'm going to call this one Condition Test Name. By default, the applied date field will be filled with today's date. Also by default, the status of this flag will be applied. Once a condition is met, the condition met status will be chosen. You must choose a severity for this condition. You have three options. A notice will allow you to move about the record with no restrictions and will simply show a banner at the top. A hold type of flag will allow you to move around the permit, add fees, edit fields, add documents, but it will hold the movement of the workflow. If you choose a lock severity for your condition, it will completely lock down your permit. Meaning, not only will you not be able to move the workflow, but you also will not be able to take fees or payments, edit fields, or anything of the sort. For this, we will choose Notice to start. The next field is mandatory, which is inheritable. This field simply is there to give you an option whether this flag should be inheritable should anyone down the road create a related record to this permit. If you choose yes, this flag will automatically be copied over to that future child record. And if you click on no, then the flag will remain only in this permit. For the purposes of this example, we will choose no. You'll notice that the applied by information is automatically entered by default to your user ID. And if you need to capture another user, there's also an action by field, department plus user, that you could choose if necessary. The resolution action area is where you can describe the nature of the condition or the hold or the notice or the lock. Description goes here. And you have additional fields where you can enter long comments or short comments and even a public display message. You can also add the effective dates for this flag if those are applicable for what you're trying to do. And finally, you can choose where to display this banner. By default, both the internal view pages and the external ones are chosen. For this example, we will leave those checked. Once all fields are filled in, finish by clicking on Submit. You will notice that we now have a new flag called Condition Test Name associated with our permit. And right away, you'll notice the blue banner at the top that shows that the severity is a notice added to every page of this record. If we move around to different tabs, and even all the way to the summary, that banner is in every page. The same is true for the public access pages on ACA. Let's go back to our flags list. Let's now go into the same flag and switch the severity. We're going to make this a hold flag, and we're going to click on Submit. And we're going to navigate over to our workflow to demonstrate that workflows cannot be moved once there is a hold flag on a record. If we click on our workflow card, we will notice that the option to pick a workflow task status is no longer there. So we cannot move the workflow. However, if we go into our custom fields, we notice that our custom fields are still editable. I can still change the information. I can still go to my fees page. I can read those fees, but I can't add them, so you can see that there are no new fees. And if I go to my payments page, I also cannot take payments on a hold status. We're now going to go back to our flag and we're going to switch it over to a lock. Click on the name, go to the severity, click on lock, and click Submit. So one of the first things you will notice at this point is that the color of the banner at the top, along with the icon, have changed. And the description shows that it is a lock flag. If we now go back to the same areas that were editable before, specifically the custom fields, you will notice that all of those field types are no longer editable now. Essentially, the entire record is locked out. In order to complete or mark a flag as completed or met, we need to go into the flag by clicking a name, and you need to mark it as status met. If we click on Submit, now the banner at the top of the page have disappeared, and all of the functionality have come back to this permit. If you have multiple flags on a particular permit, you have the display order that allows you to control which flag is displayed first. And as they are resolved, which are the subsequent flags that appear in first place.